All right, everybody, welcome to episode number 2 of the ADV-R build, where we're taking this Moto Morini Escape 650 adventure bike and making it a rally style machine with tons of performance. So in episode number 2, sponsored by SW-Motech, they make a bunch of fantastic stuff for this bike. What we're putting on the bike that they make is a new skid plate, some new lighting, some nice hand guards. Other Moto Morini accessories we're putting on today is their ADV-R one-piece seat. So they give us a little more height, a little more ability to slide back and forth on the seat. We're gonna put on their ADV-R windscreen, which is smaller, more compact, and it's got a mounting bracket for navigation devices and telephones. And we'll also be putting on the Moto Morini lower crash bars, a direct fit on this bike to help. Now, if you guys missed episode number 1, go check that out. We put a bunch of cool stuff on the bike from DPK Direct, bunch of cool red anodized parts to make the bike not only look better, but also perform better. And here are all the current sponsors of the build series. In the next episode, we have a full set exhaust going on by Xan. We're gonna do a rapid bike tune on the bike. We're gonna change the gearing with super light. We're gonna add some very unique halo lights by Novsight. Camera duties are happening by Insta360. We've got their Ace Pro on the helmet, and we've got the X4 360 camera on the bike, giving you a full circumference of footage. So with that being said, let's check out the mods we're doing in today's episode. So what we have here is a set of handguards from SW-Motech. They have a really nice aluminum brace here. The plastic handguard feels nice and beefy. You got some bar end weights to keep down on vibration. And then you got all your mounting hardware. And then with everything SW-Motech makes, you scan the QR code, get you how to install everything. Next up is we have this skid plate from SW-Motech. And this thing looks pretty serious. It's got nice coverage to cover your exhaust, plenty of coverage around the bottom of the bike. Now this thing looks big and heavy, but it's actually not that heavy. All your mounting hardware. This will be a nice addition to the bike. We do have a set of SW-Motech Evo fog lights here. And this is the bracket assembly here that's made for the Escape to mount right on the front end, just below the headlights. It's got a nice handlebar switch here. And then you got all your wiring here. And the instructions are actually in print on this one, so that'll make things a little bit easier. These do have like a really nice aluminum housing, kind of a domed lens. I'm not sure what the wattage is. I haven't seen it on here anywhere, but if I find it, I'll post it on the video here. But they look nice. Hopefully they're really bright. Next up is an accessory I'm pretty excited about. This is the Moto Morini accessory. They call it the ADV-R seat. It's a one-piece seat that replaces the two-piece seat. So you got a bit of a flatter surface here, so you can put your butt anywhere you want on the seat. Hopefully it's a little bit taller right in here. We'll find out, we'll measure the stock versus this one. Got some really nice red accent stitching, a heat embossed logo right here, different material types like a textured material on top, a little bit smoother here, texture down here. So this is a nice piece. I'll show you the stock one is a two-piece seat. It's got more of a dip and then a rise and then this here. So it kind of keeps you planted right here. I do like the ability to move around on the seat for comfort. So we'll check that out. And then we also have the Moto Morini lower drop bars. I'll show you those down in the box. What's cool about them is the bike comes with pre-mounting holes right there and right here, and then they mount right here. Kind of hard to tell what they're all about here in the box, but we'll get those mounted up and you can check them out. All right, the last thing we're installing in today's episode is the ADV-R windscreen made by Moto Morini. It's a much lower profile than stock, and I like that it's got this nice dark tint. And to mount the windscreen, it comes with this cast aluminum bracket, which is very cool. It also has a mounting for a GPS unit or wherever you want to mount here, maybe your phone mount. And then this screen is really nice, heavy Lexan. I mean, this thing, I doubt it's going to vibrate at all, but we're going to get it on the bike and then we're going to take it for a test ride and see how it handles the wind. All right, that about covers it. Let's dig in. All right, guys, now that we got everything done to the bike, I want to give you a quick overview of the stuff we bolted on in this episode, then we'll take the bike for a ride review. So the SW-Motech handguards, they were super easy to put on. I do really like that they only mount out here and not up here, because that just becomes a pain sometimes. Then I think they'll still be plenty sturdy. The look of these things is great, and when I turn the front end the entire way, I have clearance right here. Now, if you have the stock windscreen on this bike and you have your handlebars in the full forward position, this right here will tap the windscreen a little bit, not bad, but a little bit when you got a full turn. So yeah, there's plenty of clearance for your hands, no obstructions there. The SW-Motech skid plate, this thing has amazing coverage and protection. I mean, I forgot to weigh it before I put it on, but it is aluminum and it felt super light. Mounting it was pretty easy. The mounts lined up pretty good. I had to use a little bit of elbow grease to get it on there, but not too bad. But I'm really happy with the protection that it offers. I think it looks super cool. Let's kind of back up a little bit and give you an overview of it. Looks like that. Yeah, really nice piece. And now down here, we got the Moto Morini lower crash bars. Let's take a look. I think it's super cool the way this bike was made for these crash bars. The mounting here, this mount here. It's a little tricky right here, but keep playing with it, you'll get it. And then you got your big bolt down here. The bars look super clean, good protection, don't get in the way of the skid plate. I mean, they go well with the lines of the bike, so these are a really nice addition without adding a ton of weight, but a lot of protection that can end your day real quick. The SW-Motech fog lights, these things are cool. I really like the way they look. They look aggressive. They're not too big, not too small. This mounting bracket goes directly into the mounting bracket for the upper crash bar on this bike. Now, if you're using the Moto Morini upper crash bars, they mount in the same location. So I don't know if you can run them both or not. But from what I see construction-wise, these lights are very cool. I love the way they look. Now the Moto Morini one-piece seat, what an upgrade. I think this thing is so much better looking. It's just cleaner. It doesn't have that big dip right here that locks you in. You know, you can slide your butt back if you want. Now I am noticing this bike still has a bit of a rake to it, and I wish the seat was flatter. And I'll tell you about how the seat feels when I do the ride review after this. But this seat is nice. The construction, the look, so on. And then pulling this upper rack off the back, look how much cleaner that back end looks now. Cleaner, lighter. I weighed it and taken that off, shaved off 5 pounds. So these crash bars weighed under 5 pounds, it's between around 4.5 pounds. I took off 5 pounds, so I took off more than I put on, which is always nice. And then we have the Moto Morini ADV-R windscreen, and you can see the thing just looks, I just love that it's just small and compact like that, and it totally has that rally look. There's the mounting bracket, how it looks from the back. You got this nice bar right here to mount, like I said, your GPS or your phone mount or whatever. The stock windscreen from here to here was 9.5 inches. This one is 5 inches, so I've lost 4.5 inches in height, and I'll tell you how that works during the ride review. But mounting was super easy, it fit up perfectly, and it just looks fantastic. And that dark tint on this black bike, it just looks amazing, right? So that pretty much covers everything we put on in this episode. Let's take the bike for a ride. So here we are quite a bit later. I've done hundreds of miles on this thing since modifying it, probably over 300 miles. And let's start at the front and work our way back. The windscreen, it's definitely not something that you're going to want for long rides unless you're cool with a lot of wind hitting you. With the stock windscreen, I mostly just feel air like around the top of my helmet, and it's not really buffering, it's just there. With this smaller windscreen, I feel quite a bit of wind on my chest, which actually feels good, but it's pushing my helmet back, which it's not brutal. I mean, I've gotten this thing up to 85 miles an hour, and you know, it's definitely a big difference. You're not getting a whole lot of wind break with it, but
I do like it. I actually love the style of it, and you know, it's definitely got that rally feel. But for wind protection, out of 1 to 10, I give it maybe a 3. Oh, blinkers on. The skid plate and the crash bars, I mean, I don't notice them at all. I mean, they're not buzzing or humming, and that's something you kind of worry about when you start mounting metal products on metal. And so yeah, those things, batting 1,000, give them a 10. The hand guards have been great. They don't impede with my hands. I haven't really ridden in cold weather with them, so I can't really feel how much cold they're knocking off my hands. But with this bike, I've noticed, without hand guards at all, the bike itself does a really good job at blowing wind off your hands. So, but I love the style. They're sturdy. I think they'll do a great job. So no problems at all with the hand guards. Now on the seat, it kind of started off weird. I was like, man, this seat's way too soft for my liking. And you know, obviously seats are a preference. Some people like them soft, medium, hard. I've been riding on a hard seat, and I can ride for 8 hours on that thing, and it feels great. It's a Corbin, and you know, when I put this seat on, I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate this seat. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, this thing's like a marshmallow. It's so soft. Like, you drop down into the bike a little bit, maybe an inch when you sit on it, and the seat kind of has a slope to it, so you're still kind of forced into the bottom of the seat. But what I've noticed is the soft seat has grown on me, and I changed my perspective, and I'm like, you know what, I've noticed as I'm riding down the freeway or just hitting all these smaller bumps in the road, you know, roads are just constantly doing this on a bike. You know, your bike's never really just smooth, and on all those bumps like that, you're on this soft seat, and you're just gliding. It's like you're floating on this seat, and so it's really smoothed out the ride. This guy by. So when it comes to smoothness, yes, it's great. It's like a plush ride. But I love that it's a one-piece seat, that you can move your butt back on it. You don't feel locked in to the dip of the seat, or you know, the base of the seat. You can move around. So it's definitely an improvement over the seat that comes with the bike. Alright guys, so it's gotten quite a bit darker out here. I want to test these lights out, see how bright they are, see if they're at the right angle. Let's start the bike so the driving lights kick on. See how bright they are. Okay, that's the standard lights with the bike. Now let's turn the switch on. Wow, that's quite a bit more. Look at that. I would say it's more than double bright. This one over here looks like it needs to be aimed down. Where is it? There we go. That's pretty freaking impressive, guys. I had no idea they'd work that well. That's superb. Alright, I'm going to wait for it to get a little bit darker and then ride this thing home and show you guys how good they work. Before I take off on the bike, I wanted to show you guys this rad sunset. Look at that. Cool orange. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but on the Escape, the dash goes to a dark screen when the sun goes down, which looks really cool. And I'm in the off-road mode, so gives you this cool knobby tire for a RPM gauge. Fire in the hole. Alright, it has gotten a little bit darker since that last shot. Let's check it out now. Woo-hoo-hoo. I love it, dude. I am happy and impressed. that is totally worthwhile. I'm really impressed. I didn't think, by looking at the lights, when you're just standing there looking at the bike, they don't look bright, but man, they're kicking butt.
All right, everybody, that's a wrap for episode number 2 of the ADV-R build. I'm super stoked on everything we did today. SW-Motech makes fantastic stuff for this bike. If you're interested in luggage too, go check them out for luggage. They got a big selection there. So super stoked on episode number 3 coming up, where we're doing the X-Sound exhaust. It's a full system from header to the very end of the muffler. It's got a removable DB killer, and should make the bike, it's gonna sound way better. It's gonna be a much lighter system, and it's gonna make the bike run better too. And then after that, the Rapid Bike tuner should just tie it all together and make this bike really run great. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that. Hit the notification bell so when new episodes come out, you're getting notified. See you in episode number 3.